When are we live?
We are live now.
This is
fact.
live.
We are in fact
Is it?
live right now.
Is it? 'Cause
Hello.
maybe I'll stop eating if we're live.
Yeah, I think you should. I think you should.
Maybe. I don't know,
Might
be
help.
Oh, so good.
Hello, everybody who is listening today. Thank you for joining us for the latest episode of Good Morning Source Gaming. Today, joining me, Nantendrex, you have Corlin Dram.
Hi, I just hit my fucking knee on my desk.
Ooh, ouch. And also, just made it in time, Mr. Spazzy D.
I always make it just in time. I feel like I should have watched that Death Stranding 38-minute trailer because I feel like it's something to talk about, but I couldn't be bothered. Did you guys see that?
38-minute trailer, jeez, how...
It's not actually 38. That was a little hyperbole on my part.
I mean, you might want to watch it quick because it is one of the topics for this week's Source Gaming. So,
okay.
might want to
You
throw
know
it on
what?
another
You know what's
screen.
funny? I'm really interested in that game, but I also have not seen it yet.
You both of you, come on now.
Yeah.
It's like one of the two big news topics of this week, alongside Pokemon. Unless you're a Call of Duty fan, I suppose, but that was leaked ahead of time.
Badass.
I
Call of
also
Duty's
didn't
back,
watch
gamers.
anything about Call of Duty or Pokemon, so I'm a great person to have on this week.
Well, have you seen the Pokemon news? I don't think there really was any trailers for any of the Pokemon stuff.
Pokemon had that. I know that we live streamed it.
Yeah.
I was at the gym on the treadmill when we live streamed it, and I watched like 5 minutes of, I think it was like Phantom and Triss or whoever was on that, and I'm like, I can't. Not because of them, but because I don't care about Pokemon and I don't care about mobile gaming. It was so, I'm like, I don't know, something's Pokemon Sleep. This is, now you can play it in your sleep. And I'm like, yay.
I mean, I wouldn't blame you not for wanting to watch it because of them, but, you know. Like...
But oh.
Am I going to try and am I trying to describe Death Stranding or am I trying to describe Pokemon? Which one, Matthew? What is my goal for this episode? Well, we're going to go through, because there was quite a few things from this week. You'd think, with E3 coming up, all the announcements would settle down, but apparently a lot of game companies didn't get the memo and are just dropping everything suddenly now, this week, instead. I mean, I guess I get Sony, because they're not going to be at E3, so with Death Stranding. But there was more than just that, and we're going to talk about some of them. But first, while I give Spazzy a chance to watch the Death Stranding trailer, what is everybody playing this week?
I've been playing a lot, actually. I was going to say on account of me getting a new graphics card, but no, because all the stuff I've been playing have been on consoles. So y'all may know about a little console called the Xbox One X.
No, never heard of it.
And the thing is that I don't own one.
Okay.
Despite owning a 4K TV, I don't have a Bone X, and I probably won't get a Bone X, if only because the next consoles are right around the corner, and they're all going to be backwards compatible anyway, so buying a Xbox X now would be kind of pointless unless they really drop the price hardcore.
Mm-hmm.
But there are still some people who really want to buy Xbox X's for really cheap.
Mm-hmm.
So what they do is they buy the bundle that has been continuously price dropped and put on sale because no one wants the game that it's bundled with. And then they give me a free copy of the game because they don't even want to fucking play it. And so that's why this past week I sat down and played Fallout 76.
Oh yeah, you mentioned that to me the other day. You were playing Fallout.
Yeah, I mentioned it in one of our discussions.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna be honest, gang. It's actually pretty all right.
It's
like
improved.
and I understand. And I understand the history. I'm familiar with the history of Fallout 76. I also have been following the train wreck over time. However, I think it is really important to bring up, like, if I have to give Bethesda credit on one thing, it is the fact that unlike something like Anthem or a lot of these other big AAA games that sort of just like don't get the reception they needed at launch and then fall off, Bethesda's actually really committed to like switching things around.
Mm-hmm.
And they have a big roadmap. They decided to kill off the season pass. Now everything is coming free to the game instead of paid.
Nice.
The game's way more stable. And it's also been like rebalanced like 30 times over to make it, I think, play a bit more casually.
Mm-hmm.
Like my initial reaction to playing Fallout 76 was that it was chill Borderlands. Like it was a Borderlands. You don't have to be like, oh, stat tracking. You're just like, no, I'm just scavenging. I'm just getting in these like slow pot shot shootouts with ghouls. Like I have to build my guns. I have to build my armor. I have to cook.
Okay. Oh, fair. Nice. So it's like definitely kind of it's working and stuff, and it's kind of as they are intended it to be now.
Yeah,
finally.
and it's funny because I was telling a bunch of my friends this, and they were like, "I don't believe you, fuck you." And then like one day they would like come over, and I was like, "Hey, I just made you a new character in 76. You're playing," and they would sit down and play it for like 4 or 5 hours, and they were like, "Yeah, this is fine."
Like it is quite an impressive turnaround from what many would have probably listed as like one of the worst games of last year to being something pretty decent.
Which is why I'm really curious to see what Bethesda has to say about it at their E3 conference.
Yeah,
I'm yeah.
'Cause they'll maybe, if they're going to do the roadmap again, we'll probably see what updates and DLC they've got planned.
I mean, I think they're definitely going to talk about their roadmap again, but I'm also curious to see if they make the game free to play or if they just make it like $20 permanently.
I think free to play is probably better. I feel like games like Fallout 76 always find more success when they're free to play.
Yeah.
Like
the only reason why I'm conflicted about it being free to play is because that game's like economy is like not active at all. Like because you can pretty much get everything you want just by trading with either with like in the world or just, you know, scavenging and stuff, and the game just gives you microtransactions for free now. Like it gives you their little Fallout fun bucks, just, you know, just in your pocket.
Leo, not only do I think that they won't brush over it and will definitely talk about Fallout 76, they won't move on to Elder Scrolls 6 because they've already confirmed that they're not talking about it this year.
Yeah.
It's a big focus for Bethesda is going to be all Doom.
Yeah, it's they're putting all their eggs into the id Software basket.
Yeah.
But I also like, I mean, they've always done that. They've always done like the following year they talk about like the DLC plans for the game they just released. They did that with Fallout 4.
So Schnitzel from Chowder says that Death Stranding is overhyped. Can we change his mind? I don't think so. We'll fight. We'll see.
Christ, this trailer is so long. Okay, back to the trailer.
Yeah. It is overhyped. Like, see, I'm not the biggest of Kojima fans in the first place. I mean, we'll get to it when we get to that section of the discussion. But first, I need to understand it in order to be able to convince you that it's not overhyped. And I'm not 100% sure I can do that. I'll be honest.
Before we jump into Death Stranding, I just want to mention, finally, the Fallout 76 talk 3 months too late. Honestly, I'm glad I played it 6 months after the fact, because now it's a good game.
Yeah, it's the No Man's Sky effect.
And yeah, and it's because it had such a shit show launch that it is in such a good state now.
Well, as for games I've been playing, to be honest, it actually hasn't been a lot this week for me. I did go back to Labo VR to continue my adventures on that, just actually finding the time to sit down and play it. And I went and played a bit more of Celeste because I'm on the seasides now. And those are really goddamn difficult. Like, have you played Celeste, Colin?
Yeah, I've played a bit of it. I don't own it.
Like the seasides are like the final ultra hard challenges, and I've only got 3 more to do, and they get ridiculously annoying towards the end of it. They're so difficult.
Oh shit! Devil May Cry 5 is on sale on Steam, and I have $40 in my Steam wallet.
Oh, well,
It's time to buy.
And then, yeah, I mean, speaking of Devil May Cry 5, however, I did buy that today. And this is on its way now, being delivered. I probably won't have time to play it today because it'll probably arrive this evening, and I'm gonna go out and watch the football down the pub. But tomorrow, if I can get enough work done, I can potentially start trying Devil May Cry. I wasn't planning on buying it, but the price had dropped down, and it and Resident Evil 2 were both about $25-ish, £25-ish, which is probably about $35, maybe less. And I flipped a coin and decided I'd go with Devil May Cry 5 as opposed to Resident Evil 2.
But speaking of games I've played this week, speaking of VR,
Oh,
speaking of being very, very, very British, I played. This is not going to be me talking about a game to a bunch of people on the internet I don't know. This is me selling Nintendogs on a brand new video game. Man, why haven't you bought Blood and Truth yet?
To be honest, I didn't know what it was at all until you started talking about it earlier this week.
Blood and Truth is a game that has been shoved under the bed because it's a VR game and people hate VR games. And that's why everyone thinks State of Play is bad, even though, honestly, just keep bringing them on. Blood and Truth is the London Heist demo from PlayStation VR Worlds, turned into a full video game. Same studio. It actually has references to the London Heist.
Okay.
But let me tell you that they knocked it out of the fucking park. This might be one of the best VR games I've ever played, if not the best one. Like to the same degree that like the London Heist was the game that sold me on VR, Blood and Truth, I feel like it has made everything kind of come full circle.
I don't. That was a lot.
Back with us, back in the realm of the sensible.
Just a lot, man.
We could...
you haven't seen this, Colin? You need to see this.
I do need to see it.
All right, we'll let Colin finish talking about Blood and Truth. Yeah.
Talk about Blood and Blood or whatever.
Blood and Truth.
So Blood and Truth is a VR action game, and it basically kind of takes. It's funny because there's this rumor that Valve is working on a Half-Life VR game, and apparently their focus is that they want it to be this sort of amalgamation of everything we've learned within Generation 1 of VR before we start moving on to like, well, what else can we do with it with new hardware and everything? But this game beat them to the punch. Because it straight up takes everything that is completely possible with the current VR tech, fleshes it out to a degree that is fucking fantastic. So let me just get into the core mechanics of the game, because that's actually the most important part of explaining how a VR game works. So in this game, there's no teleportation and there's no locomotion. Instead, there are predetermined spots in the environment that you like physically look over to, and then you hit a button to move your guy to that area.
Okay.
And it's usually on little bits of cover within the environment. However, those bits of cover also have multiple spots that you're able to move to, so you can kind of strafe, but like behind them.
Okay.
So there actually is some flexibility in how you move, so it's not like totally on rails. And the game, so when you first start the game, it makes you calibrate where your chest and your waist is. And the reason being is because you have 2 holsters for sidearms, and you have a chest rig for your magazines. So in game, you actually take a gun out of your holster and reload it by using your other hand to take a magazine out of your chest rig and load it into your pistol.
Oh wow. Like properly like realistic loading.
Yeah, and you get 2 sidearms and you get 2 primaries. With the primaries, you can't exactly dual wield them. However, you can use your free hand to grip the front of the gun for it to be like steadier.
Mm-hmm.
And then like there's like puzzles and there's grenades
Well,
and so like that's just how the game works. But how does it play? And the answer is fucking amazing. Because the amount of stuff, like the amount of like um freedom they give the player in just like being able to do whatever the fuck they want with stuff at their disposal. You can even twirl the guns if you want. Like if you hold down triangle on the move controllers, you like twirl the gun around your finger like your revolver ocelot.
mm-hmm.
And it's just it's really well polished. It looks fantastic. Like there's not too much else. It's really hard to talk about VR games without like showing footage, which I think is actually one of the biggest problems with VR, is that it's really hard to be like, wow, this shoot bang game is really fantastic. It's like, why? And it's like, because of how it plays, which is not something you can really like talk about in conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't help that people look stupid at doing VR.
Yeah.
It's the Wii effect, where you're all like, this is really fun to play. I don't know, man. You look like an idiot there with the waggle. And it's,
Mm-hmm.
it's something you have to experience more than showcase.
But like
They demo well. They don't.
yeah.
But they don't broadcast well.
I think the best way I can describe it is just to tell you something that happened to me in the game, which is there is a section where you're doing an on foot like foot chase, and there's someone running and you're behind them, and these random dudes are popping out of nowhere as if they're as if you're in like a fucking time crisis game, and sometimes you'll see them coming, so you'll raise up your pistol properly and you'll use your free hand to press against your gun to like stabilize it, because they actually included an animation for like your character double gripping his pistol to steady it properly.
Okay.
And so you get this cool moment, you're like, oh shit, I feel like a real tactical, like guy, but then the next second a guy will just come out of a random doorway and start blasting you, so you have to like swing your hand around and fire your gun sideways at him because it's out of reflex, and it's so quick and it's so fluid and it's so like precise, and the feedback is fantastic. You feel like you're fucking John Wick. And then right after, at the end of the sequence, you jump out a window, which is something that happens in a lot of video games, but you don't necessarily experience the, all these different broken shards of glass flying by your eyeballs in 3D. You have to catch onto a pipe on the building opposite to the one you just jumped out of. And then there is a ledge and rhubarb where you actually have to use your hands to climb up, like you have to scale up the side of a building.
Wow, that's
by literally
sounds
like
a lot.
by using your hands to like reach up, grab rhubarb, and then pull it down as if you're like physically pulling your body up.
Wow.
And it's so neat. It's so good. Like, it's handled so fantastically.
I must say, you are actually selling this on me now. This actually sounds really sick. Oh wow!
I streamed the game on my Twitch earlier this week, and I will do it again. Like I plan on finishing the game on stream this week, because I had so much fun in the first 3.5 hours of this that I played. And it's not just shoot bangs. There is like these like walking sequences where you got to like scope out areas, and there's like interactivity in the environments. It's really nice. They even suggest playing the game sitting down. Like, they even say, like, you may want to get comfy.
Well, that sounds sick though. Like, maybe because I've still got Resident Evil 7, which is my current VR game, not including Labo VR, and I want to finish that before I get onto my next one. I was considering Moss, which I have heard good things about, but maybe I'll pick up Blood and Truth instead. It's not that expensive. I was just checking it out.
It's $40.
Yeah. And I could potentially get it bundled with Everybody Golf VR and get it even cheaper.
Have you played the London Heist?
No, I play. Yes, I have played the London Heist.
Yeah,
Yeah.
then there you go. You've done your homework. Now you can play.
Yeah, no, I've got the London Heist. It's that we played. Me and my friends have played it a few times, although I haven't actually played it yet with PlayStation Move because I didn't. I played that before I managed to find some Move controllers, so I was considering going back and trying it with that to see if it'd be easier. But maybe I'll just wait and pick up this Blood and Truth instead.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. Now you can go and watch the Death Stranding trailer. And Spazzy, what have you been playing this week?
It's cute that you guys think I have time to play video games during the week. It's really, really nice.
What have you done during the week then? If you haven't played any video games,
I did play some Switch Fit boxing to keep myself in optimum Switch Fit shape.
To be honest, I need to go back and doing stuff like that. I was doing really well with my exercise routine, and I just kind of stopped. Like,
that's I think the hardest thing is just consistency when it comes to that. I've been because I've been hitting the gym every day, and I do something for cardio. So a couple days a week I do the Switch Fit boxing because I like the gamification of cardio, where you're like, yeah, I'll just hit these different notes or do this thing, and it'll make me not think about how much I'm sweating.
See, I need to set up my Wii Fit again, because I was going to do it, and I even brought the balance board down, but I haven't actually gotten any batteries for my Wii remote, and so I haven't actually turned it on. I thought I had Wii Fit U, so I was going to play that one, but I couldn't find it anywhere, and I've just given up since then, but I probably should. The only reason I stopped doing exercise this week is because I caught a bit of a cold, and just when you feel groggy and stuff, you don't feel like doing anything, and then it just kind of left my mind.
Yeah, I've been meaning to reset my Wii Fit up or my Wii Fit U up because I have my Wii U set up like in a different room. I just never use my Wii U, so it's just kind of weird.
Yeah, see, I haven't turned my Wii U on in ages, but it does sit next to my Switch and PS4 by the TV, so I have no reason that I can't turn it on. I just have to charge everything like the gamepad and all.
Yeah, that's the thing too. The gamepad has to be charged and all that, so it's a little bit of a pain. But yeah, I should totally do that. I really hope that Nintendo does more, and I know that a lot of people are all think this is like crazy or whatever, but I think Nintendo needs to, now that the Switch has gotten to a point where it's really selling well. It's selling well, and they're doing a really good job of having their studios focus on a lot of good core experiences. They kind of redefined 3D Mario and 3D Zelda. They had a great Smash. Like, they're doing a lot of good stuff. I think that they should probably devote some of their development time to some more casual games. I don't know if they want to do that anymore. The thing is, I'm not saying that should be a main focus of theirs at all. I'm just saying like one or two teams could make a Wii Sports or a Nintendogs or something like that, because I think there still is a market out there for those type of games.
I mean, there is, and that's why we see stuff like fitness boxing, and I think a Nintendogs-esque game just came out.
Yeah, I saw a lot of people on my timeline playing it.
Like, I don't know what it's called.
Not a lot, but enough.
My Dog and Cat or something like that?
Yeah, something about like my pets or my friends or
Yeah,
something.
Little Friends, Dog and Cats. It came out 4 days ago.
Yeah.
It gets a 5 out of 10. 5 out of 10 on Nintendo Life.
Right, but the thing is, like, there's a difference between those and something that's actually Nintendo quality. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. Although this does look a lot like Nintendogs. Like,
and
really
cats.
a lot. Yeah, and cats. I think they could do another Nintendogs. I don't think they're going to do another Wii Fit, because I don't think they want to sell like a balance board, and Labo seems to be their new peripheral thing, and I don't think you could make a balance board out of cardboard, because it would almost certainly be destroyed. So
I would really like a Switch Fit or something. It's just even just as a way to track your weight, I feel like it's really useful.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of people now have stuff like Fitbits and other things to track it. I think like Nintendo feels there are.
I have I have a smartwatch that I use for my steps and my heart rate and things like that, but it's not monitoring my weight.
I guess.
Or apparently, also my my Wii age, my fitness age. No.
Yeah. I mean, it's curious to see like whether or not like another Brain Age and stuff will be coming to Switch, because they did release Brain Age for 3DS, didn't they? Devilish Brain Training. And so it's not like the series is dead or anything. So I wonder if
yeah, I just feel like they
do
could
another one.
probably have one or two smaller studios, and they could even acquire studios or build up studios just for those type of games. I mean, Nintendo has the capital for that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
I'd also like to see a more Western studio from them make more Western games, because all they have is Retro, and Retro doesn't do anything except for tweet out pictures of meat.
Well, they have NST, but NST is just kind of stuck in the realm of we're dropping stuff on them now. I mean, they're rising up, to be fair. They went from doing Wave Race 1080, the really good Mario vs. Donkey Kong, to then being stuck in the Mario vs. Donkey Kong dimension for a while. But they did do the Mario Maker 3DS port, which is pretty good and has all of its own levels and stuff like that. What have they done recently? Is that the latest thing they've done? If that is the case, maybe they're due something else. I'm going to just quickly Google this. Nintendo software technology. Yeah, because they went through a bad strut. They went through people. Oh, they just released the Captain Toad Treasure Tracker port. They were the ones who handled it, the 3DS version, as well as porting the Switch version, apparently. Considering that the 3DS is almost certainly like not getting any more games, they must be now working on something for Switch. Whether it's probably
I think next year's going to be a very interesting year for Switch, because I feel like these first couple years they've knocked out all of the major IP.
Mm-hmm.
So we're at a point now where we're going to see, I guess, some sequels to earlier stuff. We're going to start digging into those other IP where it's all like, hey, a Paper Mario, a Punch Out. You know, I think this is always my favorite part of a Nintendo console life cycle. Like when they get most of the really big stuff out of the way. I mean, you still got a couple, like people be like, hey, what about Pikmin? What about this? What about that? But honestly, we know Metroid's on the way. Once Animal Crossing and Pokemon are out, then all of a sudden I feel like you have most of your heavy hitters here already.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Bros, I'm not done yet, but I didn't know the director from Drive was in this game.
Yeah.
Dude,
that's badass.
Kojima's kind of a star effer. Like, he really is.
Yeah, he really is.
Alright, I'm gonna finish this. I got like a minute and a half left.
Alright. So, like, actually, so speaking of NST, I kind of want them to be working with Retro on Prime 4. Specifically, I want Prime 4 to have a multiplayer mode, and I want NST to be in charge of it, because this is quite timely, and thanks to Liam Robertson for tweeting this out. It was 13 years ago today that Metroid Prime Hunters came out, which is a game that NST made, and that game has far better online than any other Nintendo game. Like, it has voice chat, with which you didn't need accessories because the DS had a microphone. It had matchmaking with strangers, and it worked really well, very little lag. You could also matchmake with friends, though, and make private lobbies with friends, and just have friend battles. And the invite system was really simple. You just had to, you know, like every other system other than Nintendo, just send an invite across and then join through the game. And, of course, it was free because it was the Nintendo DS. And all of this
was really ahead of its time.
Yeah,
you know,
it's like Nintendo has just regressed backwards in in how good its online is, which is ridiculous. So, I kind of hope that Metroid Prime 4 has a multiplayer mode like the one in Hunters, and that they just get NST to do it. Retro work on the campaign, NST do the multiplayer mode.
That little thumb strap that came. The thumb strap that came with the old DS, was really useful. It was pretty good. I also kept it and attached it to my 3DS, and I ended up using it a lot for Kid Icarus Uprising, which also had a good multiplayer mode.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I guess I have been playing. Yeah. I have been playing the Castlevania collection whenever I have just some spare time to just f around, but that's about it.
Yeah.
This week. First of all, it was a short week. It's only been 4 days, really.
No, yeah, because
And
Monday you had it was a bank
Memorial
holiday,
Day
yeah,
as a holiday
Memorial
here.
Day, yeah.
So so yeah, this is a really really kind of short week.
Well, but
I'm
that's a
planning
whole
on
day
playing.
off to play games, though. That's a whole day you could
Man,
have been playing games.
sorry, I had things to do that were not games. In fact, once I get off here, once again, I'm doing things, and I'm not going to have time for any games today, which kind of sucks.
Yeah, to be fair, I won't either. I have to render a video when I get off here, and then clean up my room a little bit. And while the video's rendering, because while it's rendering, I'm not going to be able to do anything on the computer. And then I'm
Yeah.
meant to be going out to watch the football, so
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm done.
he's done.
Yeah. So before you say anything, I don't know how to feel about that, Colin. I'm just going to throw that out there. I don't know exactly what it is I just saw.
I guess I'll start because I've watched the trailer a few days ago, and I've watched it a few times. And me and my friend have talked about like how we don't understand what's happening at all. But yeah, it's weird. Like I said at the beginning, I'm not the biggest of Kojima fans in the first place. Like, I've played Metal Gear Solid 1 and 2, and I tried 4, but I got bored of it pretty quickly. And that's it, really. Oh, I got bored of Peace Walker as well. But it just feels really weird for the sake of being weird. Like, Kojima stayed up for 72 hours and just went mad and started acting like a bird and scribbled anything that came into his mind, and then got Norman Reedus to act it out. And that is Death Stranding. You just seem to play as like a FedEx delivery man with a baby strapped to him, going
But what do you
from
think about
place
the
to
ladders?
place.
I kind of like the ladder. The ladder, I think, was a highlight for me.
It's a cool tool, actually. Like, it makes sense. Like, you need to climb a high place, you just put a ladder up and you climb up the ladder, as opposed to scaling a cliff like you do in every other game.
Can you imagine, like, in Breath of the Wild, like, Link just pulls out a ladder or whatever he needs it?
Just pull a ladder for here. Sheikah Slate just makes a ladder and you just climb it up like. Well, considering the big parcels and everything he's got on his back, it's quite, it's more realistic for him to be climbing a ladder, I guess. But I'm still not 100% sure what the focus of this game is.
So here's my take.
Mm-hmm.
I was already sold on it, like, from the initial trailers. I'm still very much so sold on it, and I think I find it very, very weird. Video games are a weird medium. Like we always make jokes and japes. This is, by the way, this is going to be like a complete turnaround from when I was like, oh dude, this action thing was really badass, because I'm pulling out the bachelor's degree right now. But we always go on about how video games are fucking weird. We always love making jokes. Haha, Mario take the mushroom when you go big. That couldn't happen in real life. But what's interesting is that, like, video games themselves, it seems like people have this like adverse to video games themselves portraying themselves as weird. And like I like it. I like that we have a AAA surrealist video game experience, because when was the fucking last time that happened? Like, LSD Dream Simulator on the PS1?
I understand what you're saying, and if you want to go look at a WinApp visualizer and call it art, you can do that. I just want some sort of narrative sense to this. I don't know if I'm going to get it.
No,
I might. It might be amazing. It's just, it was 8 minutes because he had so much that he felt that he had to show us in order for us to get a feel for it. And it just seemed like more and more stuff. And by the end of the trailer, I was bored because I had no direction on where, I had no idea where this was going. And it could be cool. There's some really interesting bits in there. I like some of the visual stuff they did. But I mean, you're just saying, oh, look how all this neat and interesting stuff, and it has the right to be weird and kooky and just everything. But like, there's a point where you just throw everything against the wall. It doesn't mean it's good.
I'm I'm not saying it's like automatically good because it's weird. I'm just saying like that because I don't have any judgment on the game itself. I haven't
Me
played
neither.
it. It's not out yet. I can't fucking say on that. All I'm saying is that the advertising material that they have given me has sold to me an experience that I want because it is a game that I have not seen done before. That's what I'm saying.
So I'm just trying.
And then furthermore, to go off of that, it's the thing that also has made me excited since the beginning is the fact that you could tell with the latter day Metal Gear Solid games, with 4, with Peace Walker, with 5, that Kojima wanted to go off and do his own like David Lynch, Stanley Kubrick. I mean, fucking Peace Walker and 5 has so many like Doctor Strangelove references and reference to all sorts of stuff. It's clear that he really wanted to do something that's more akin to what he wanted to put out and not just, you know, take a 30-year-old game series and pile more bullshit onto it. And as far as like story details goes, like just wait for the game for that.
Well, this is what, so I'm trying to find it, going all the way through Kojima's Twitter, trying to find it, but he actually made a statement of what the story
he made,
is,
like, a
and
short
I found it now.
Synopsis,
yeah.
Like or like about the theming of Death Stranding.
Yeah, so I can just read it verbatim so that see if that helps with people understanding what's going on. But
I don't know. I at the same time, I don't think the trailer should. I think we're just so used to trailers for anything. This is why I hate movie trailers now. Just giving away the entire fucking plot. They don't need to do that. They should just like sell me on the experience. I know what the game looks and plays like now. I know what to expect just visually.
I mean,
I'd rather wait for the game to see what happens. I'd rather be in the dark, honestly.
I don't care about that, Colin. What I care about is the fact that it seems like he was trying to put every idea he had into this, and he's somebody that clearly envisions himself more as a filmmaker and a storyteller than really as a game maker, and you can see that once again in the fact that he has all of this adulation to all of these Hollywood figures that he shoves in there. What I'm saying is that once again there's it is such a glut of different things, and then there's the dark world, and then there's this going on, and then there's the parts with the baby, and there's this and there's that I don't see it coming together well. It very could, because we don't know much about it. And I'll say that it did whet my appetite for finding out what it is, which is what I think a trailer should do. And I actually really hate when they say it's a teaser trailer and it's like a 3-minute thing. I'm like, it's just a trailer.
Yeah.
We're used to really expository trailers. I still am not completely sold on any gameplay aspects of it, although some of it looks interesting. Like, I actually do think that I've seen so much open world stuff though that it's hard for me to get excited about it, because it's stuff that I've seen before, and especially when you're doing something so experimental with your narrative. I guess maybe it makes sense to ground it in something that everybody is familiar with. But I'm somebody that I prefer my games to be different and experimental on the gameplay side rather than on the narrative side, which this might be, because there's some weird stuff going on. There's definitely different worlds.
There's like a whole big diatribe on the Death Stranding website that like explains kind of how the actual game part works. I honestly think I think people are taking the trailers too literal at face value with how the game is going to play. Like I think for the most part, if you've played Phantom Pain, like that'll give you some idea of how like cutscenes versus gameplay are going to be structured. Where we're going to have like these long cutscene experiences, but then we'll have like 2-3 hours of game in between it. And it'll all just kind of flow naturally together.
Yeah, so I think, so I can get a say in on this, it doesn't bother me so much that we don't know the story, because I agree with you, Colin. Trailers where they show off the whole story in the trailer makes me not want to bother watching a film or playing a game for its story, because I feel like I've seen everything. And so I'm not particularly bothered that, obviously some setting or world building it would be nice, and there's a bit of that in there, even if some of it is just like, what does this even mean? I think for me, it comes that from the gameplay we've seen of it, I still don't quite understand what it is that you're doing in this game. Like, everything of gameplay was his character just kind of walking around and then or crawling around, and then something would show up, whether it be an invisible monster or guys in hazmat suits, and then he'd run around for a bit and then just continue on. And the only part that changes that up is that scene at the end where he's suddenly got a gun fighting zombie soldiers or whatever from the mud. And, like, apart from that, everything else just feels like very generic open world game. And that's what I need to know differently. Like, what is the hook of this game? What is it in this game that makes it stand out from other games, other than just how bizarre everything seems to be, how artsy everything seems to be? And I think a lot of it comes together more if you've seen the other trailers, because like the last trailer they showed off had fucking Norman Reedus like firing an RPG at like a convoy. Oh, I get that there's the shooting aspects of it, but it looks a lot. Yeah, you're right. It looks a lot like Phantom Pain. I'm sure it probably plays a lot like Phantom Pain.
I don't want a movie when I'm playing a video game, Mr. David Cage. Man, then just don't play any Metal Gear game. You're gonna really hate it.
But I will give
comeback. I
will give Death Stranding one thing gameplay wise that I do quite like, and that is the dark world. Because the way that works is that instead of dying and getting the game over, you're effectively dragged into what I'm guessing is the Hades that they're referencing. And you have to escape from that to get back to the main game. So there's no death or anything. You just kind of fall into the Stranger Things dimension and have to find your way out to continue. And I quite like that, because it means that not only does death feels more punishing this way, because death when you just die and restart at a spawn point is annoying, but most of the time nowadays it's nothing too aggravating. Oh, I died, damn, that's a pain. Some games incentivize it by having, you drop all your stuff, like in Dark Souls or Minecraft. The
Dark Souls method.
Yeah. But the fact that you're then trapped in another world and you have to escape and all that just to then get back to where you are, that elongates everything and feels like real punishment for dying. And I think that's a lot cooler than just having it be a die in a spawn point. It also makes more sense in universe as well, because you could justify then that actually in the story Norman Reedus might have actually died a few times around and had to escape. Or I guess I keep calling him Norman Reedus, and it's going to be hard not to call him that, but his actual name is Sam Porter Bridges.
Yeah.
And he will attempt to bridge the different.
I think like the marketing for this game has been definitely pushing like the experience over the gameplay. And while usually I would agree that I'm more interested in the gameplay side of things, I played Metal Gear Solid 5. I think Kojima has a grasp on how open world gameplay should be, because that was like the gameplay of Metal Gear Solid 5 was like the shining star of the entire video game. It certainly wasn't the story.
I mean, it's here's the thing. Kojima, like, his narratives, I know people like the Metal Gear Solid games and everything, but it's like clumsy, heavy-handed politics and weird, pretentious bullshit. And if you're into those two things, sure, you'll love this game. Whatever, man. Maybe it's not for me. Maybe it's for Colin. Maybe it's not for me. Maybe it will be for me. It'll come out and it'll look great.
Yeah, but, I think it's going to be a game.
It's not enough to really, for me. It's going to be divisive, I think.
Yeah, it's going to be a game for me that I'm just going to wait and see what everyone else thinks about it before I pick it up. Like, I'm not, like I said, for not being a big Kojima person, I'm not like, this isn't one of my most wanted games of the year, but I know people will pick it up, and if they say it's good and they say it's some kind of experience like that you have to play and not have spoiled for you, then I might pick it up. Maybe get it as a Christmas present because it comes out towards the end of the year, and I think it'll give it a try myself.
I think no matter what, it'll be an experience, and I think it has merit to the fact that it has been made. I think it is. I think that kind of goes to what Colin was saying before, that you don't usually see these sort of weird fever dream creations getting this sort of funding, but Kojima had a name for himself, so
yeah.
You
it'll be
don't see
interesting.
it, or when they do, they have like some weird meta like video gamey narrative about it.
Yeah.
Which is why I kind of like this one, because it's so far it seems to be sort of like trying to present itself as like, its own thing, as opposed to like video games. Am I right, gamers? Like,
Postmodern RPGs.
I mean, I'll take it.
Fair. Well,
Look, you put you got two fucking big open world games coming to the PS4 this year. You have third person cinematic fucking zombie open world shooter, and then you have like surrealist open world survival like Dark Souls clone. Like, I guess I'll take the latter.
yeah, to be fair,
Yeah,
same.
I mean, I think everyone here knows my opinion on Days Gone as well as Colin, so we don't need to get into that. But like, I don't know if you've been on whenever I've talked trash about that game without having really played much of it at all, and people will get on my case about it. It's that Days Gone looks to me like video games the game. Like if somebody was on like a sitcom or a television show or something and playing what the writers of that television show thought the kids were playing as a video game. If it's not Fortnite, obviously, but like as like a big open world game, they're like, yeah, look, I'm playing this game. It's called Days Gone. It's an open world zombie game. Look, I'm this tough biker guy. Like it just seems so like everything about that game seems like it was made by a committee of people that said, hey, what are the kids that play PlayStation like nowadays?
They like the frame rate being bad and the worlds being open.
That's it.
Well, let's move on from Death Stranding, because there's a few more things to talk about. Let's move on to Pokemon, which was the other big thing for at least our fan base. And that's Pokemon had one of its two presentations, the other one being next week, and that one's more about Pokemon Sword and Shield. And this one was all about other products like games and apps, and most of it was on mobile, although there was one that wasn't, and that was Detective Pikachu 2, which, I mean, isn't a surprise, I think, for
Is the
anyone.
first Detective Pikachu going to come to Switch, though? Because if not...
Well, that's what I'm not sure. I called it Detective Pikachu 2 because that's what people have been calling it. But from what I gather, it's more like an extended version again of the 3DS one. Like it has the 3DS's story, but then continues it on.
Detective Pikachu was supposed to be one really long game, and then they cut it up into two parts.
Yeah, because it's weird, because Detective Pikachu, when it first came out, launched in Japan originally as just one episode, and then disappeared for ages, and then came back as a full game, but that full game ends on a cliffhanger. And so this game, I guess, is the final complete version of it, because it seems to apparently be that 3DS game, but then more on it. And they've already said that the ending to this one will be different from the games and different from the movie. So I'm guessing it's a kind of remake, remaster. Detective Pikachu coming to Switch, I'm more surprised that it didn't come out this year and launch alongside the movie. But like, I was also surprised Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 didn't launch alongside Avengers Endgame, because those feel like really obvious like marketing strategies, and I guess maybe it just wasn't ready. That's the only reasoning I could come up with for it not making that time.
Mr. Xanabar asks, but is Pokemon Home just a better Pokemon Bank? Do I gotta pay for it?
I think so. I think that is literally what it was. Do you know what Pokemon Bank is?
It just looked like. Well, I know what Pokemon Bank is.
Mm-hmm.
It's like how you trade Pokemon on the 3DS games.
Yeah. Pokemon Bank is exclusively a 3DS thing, and so with them wanting something that you can connect the Switch to, your mobile phone to, and the 3DS to still, they're just making Pokemon Home putting it on the cloud, and you can now just trade through that instead. So
I mean, that's the way to do it.
Yeah. They had to address that before Sword and Shield came out, because people would have asked them, does this have Pokemon Bank support? Is Pokemon Bank coming to the Switch? Can I trade from my 3DS to the Switch?
Can I show my friend all my Pokemans?
Yes. on the Switch specifically.
The King of
That's
Trash says we know less about any of the things they announced at the conference than we know about Death Stranding.
That is
Thank
true.
you.
That is true.
Thank you.
Yes, but yeah.
I think they showed us a lot about Death Stranding. It's just it's up to us to put it all together.
Badass.
Yeah, we
I
gotta
love
put the
video
puzzle.
games that make me think.
And then what else was there from Pokemon? There was so then there's Pokemon Sleep, which is just the next step towards Pokemon being your life. And
Well, Pokemon Eat is obviously the next
It's
one.
funny because Pokemon Sleep is not like the concept is something that like Nintendo has been talking about since like
Forever.
the Wii days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, what was that little the finger attachment? What was that thing called?
The
vitality
sensor.
sensor.
Yeah.
The vitality sensor that became the quality of life sleeping
There's-
monitor that
yeah,
is
there's
now
just,
a
there's just,
Pokemon
like one dude at
themed.
Nintendo. Just one dude at Nintendo that's all like, but what about the sleep thing though?
Didn't they release a patent when the NX was first announced for like a new? No, they
Yeah.
didn't release a patent. It was that press holdings thing. It was
Yeah.
the fiscal year thing where Iwata dropped the little NX thing. He also said like, "Oh, we're also working on a new."
Yeah, they said
what
we're
do they
working
call those? The fucking like way of life.
quality of life.
Okay,
They called it quality of life products.
Sleeping. Yeah.
I don't think they mentioned that it was sleeping, but the sleeping thing did come a bit later because I think he mentioned they were working on quality of life, non-gaming related but somewhat gaming connected products, and then it went silent for ages, and then at some point, I want to say it was a patent, but something came out that detailed a device that could monitor your sleeping, and everyone was like, "This must be the quality of life thing." But then it disappeared again, and then Nintendo confirmed that they weren't working on the quality of life stuff anymore. And now this has shown up, so I guess they didn't scrap it entirely. They've just kind of made it Pokemon themed.
Yeah.
I mean, it's interesting. We need to obviously get more information on it, and it's not scheduled to come out till next year. But something that incentivizes people to sleep like appropriate hours, and like not just the amount of hours, but also regularly go to bed at certain times and wake up at certain times, and incentivize them with Pokemon. I feel like that works. It's a smart
I wonder
idea.
if that new Pokemon Go Plus thing they have has like biometrics in it.
You mean the Pokemon Go Plus Plus?
Yes.
So
I wonder if it has biometrics into it, or if it plays with like if you have an iPhone, if you have like an Apple Watch, like if it plays with that, uses like the interfacing. I think apps can do that.
I think it probably will. It probably definitely comes. I mean, Pokemon Sleep will be an app itself. So
The two like pseudo cheap $30 Chinese smartwatches I've owned in my life have both had sleep tracking on them, and they both work pretty okay.
yeah,
So
Yeah, my smartwatch tells me how much I'm sleeping when I get up, all that stuff. So
yeah.
It's
my
interesting.
phone
It's a
can
fun
do
thing to
that.
track.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was
Maybe
tracking
that's
for
it.
a
Maybe they
while.
were trying to work on the tech, but then they decided just to work on software instead.
Yeah,
Because the tech is already here.
yeah. That might have been it. That might have been that the quality of life stuff they were thinking of was either too much for them to do and wouldn't pay off, or has already existed and been made by other people. So what's the point? This
Like
is
when Wii Fit U came out and they gave those little pedometers for everybody. You're like, that's nice, but everybody has a Fitbit now.
Yeah.
yeah. Like I think that yeah, like I said, incentivizing people with Pokemon, because it seems that like based on your sleep schedule and how good it is and stuff, certain Pokemon will appear, and this will show up in Pokemon Go, and then you can like get more Pokemon in Pokemon Go. Whether these maybe they can even be transferred to Sword and Shield if they want to push that way. It's like trying to improve people's quality of life through Pokemon. And so it's an interesting idea. It's just such a random thing, and it does create the memes of, you know, next it'll be Pokemon Eat, depending on how good your diet is, depends on what Pokemon you can catch and get, and then just like Pokemon Life. No, Pokemon Drive. The less driving you do and the more public transport you take, the better Pokemon will show up for you.
I'm just waiting for that Pokemon dating app, man.
We jest, but like reminder that like Pokemon Go actually caused like a surge in like
I know.
people going outside and getting in exercise.
Oh no, I know.
Yeah.
Well, like, the thing they know, just it depends how far this will go.
Yeah, exactly.
When will our life become Pokemon? It'll just become the ending, like in 100 years from now. The what happens at the end of Detective Pikachu is just going to be like our lives. We are Pokemon now. Ugh. They also announced you getting an. I don't know what is that, Mr. Zanabal. They also announced Pokemon Wedding. I don't remember hearing that. You're gonna have to send a link for that.
There's like a wedding service that you can do in Japan. That's like two giant Pichus join you.
Right. Okay. Sure. I guess the last Pokemon announcement was Pokemon Masters, which was that Pokemon DNA game that got announced a month ago, and they said we'd hear more about it in June. And this one's like the actual game one. It seems to be a gacha game based around all of the trainers from across the series. And I think this one could be cool. Like, I've always wanted to see more of the trainers come back. I really enjoyed it in Black and White 2, where you had that extra post-game mode where you could fight all the gym leaders from every previous generation. I always thought that was really cool. So having some, like, Pokemon gacha game where you can summon trainers, I guess, or recruit them and have them fight alongside you. I think the big thing to know is whether or not every trainer comes with one specific Pokemon, and so it's effectively summoning Pokemon based on the trainer as opposed to like just summoning the Pokemon on their own, or whether or not each trainer can be customized to use different Pokemon. Do you summon both the trainer and the Pokemon? Like, what's that going to be? But it seems like cool. It seems like something that would do really well, considering how well Fire Emblem Heroes does. Like, if they just make it exciting to do these Pokemon battles, like, and you have to put some proper thought into it, then I think it could be a really cool little spin-off game. Yeah. Yeah, I guess it's... Yeah, I guess you two aren't the best people to go over Pokemon stuff with.
I like Pokemon.
I saw Detective Pikachu.
Yeah.
That was a movie.
Yeah, what did you
dirty Gen 1er, don't you forget it. Like,
what did you think of Detective Pikachu, Spazzy, considering you also had that movie discussion with Wolfman?
I think I discussed it maybe last week or the week before, but I liked it. I thought it was very much a kids movie. Like, do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it definitely is entertaining for, I guess, older fans, or even if you're not a fan of Pokemon, like, because Ryan Reynolds and the humor is there. But it doesn't have, like, a really, like, stellar plot. You can see everything that's coming, but once again, it's a kids movie, but it's enjoyable, and I thought that they did a really good job of realizing the world of Pokemon, which is what a lot of video game movies don't do. Like, I feel like, more to the point, that is what I feel like video game movies kind of need to do if they want to be good, is if you can just set a story set within the world of a video game. Because the problem is a lot of older games don't really have narratives, like even like Mario or Pac-Man or something. It's hard to make a game out of that. And then newer games have such a defined narrative that I've already played through Uncharted, and I've already seen way more of an Uncharted movie by playing an Uncharted game than they could give us in a movie. So if you try to remake that into a movie, it just feels like the last Tomb Raider movie, like less than the actual game.
Yeah, although
so
it's
tricky.
I feel like if they'd made an Uncharted movie, they shouldn't follow any of the games because of that reason.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
is that you just set something within that world, and but you don't actually touch on anything from the games. I think that's like the way you have to do that in order for it to be good.
Yeah,
but maybe that's just me.
No, I agree with you, and I mean, I guess we'll find out, because an Uncharted movie is practically a given at this point, considering Sony opened that new studio to make TV shows and movies, and they're doing Twisted Metal as their first TV show. But
that's dude, I love some Twisted Metal. Like, it is weird to me that is. Well, I feel like Sony kind of abandons their IPs. Like, they don't really revisit them that much.
I mean, everyone does.
Yeah.
people bitch about Nintendo not doing like a new F-Zero or whatever, but Nintendo is much better at maintaining those IPs than almost any other company.
Well, that's because
They
they've
use a
got
lot of
stuff
those.
like that's because they've got crossovers like Nintendo Land and Smash Brothers to help keep some of them alive.
Well,
to be
even
honest,
People
I
complain
mean,
about Nintendo not bringing back old franchises, but I don't know. There's this like company called Sega, and don't know if you've ever heard of them.
dude, Sega has, and I've made this point before. They have the most diverse list of IP that I've ever seen. More
And
than
they do
Nintendo.
nothing with it. They do absolutely nothing with it.
yeah, it's true.
They've had successful games in almost every genre you can think of.
Yeah.
Almost everyone. Yeah.
I mean, only found out about a new one recently. That horror game that was on PS1 that apparently didn't come out in America but did come out in Europe. It was, Did You Know Gaming covered it on their region lock thing. I'm trying to remember. You're in like an underwater base. Oh, what's it called?
Deep Fear.
Deep Fear. That's it. That looks really cool, actually. Like,
Yeah.
I
so
really
much,
like the
man.
oxygen idea. Oh, it was a Sega Saturn game. I really liked the like whole oxygen concept and everything because that just kind of adds to this fun. And it's not just about having limited ammo, but you have to limit shots because it reduces the oxygen. Like, there are some really cool ideas, and it seems to be like actually a good game. Like, not some sort of a trash attempt at doing it. Yet, like. We've never seen anything from Deep Fear again after that first one, and I didn't even know about it until
It's
the
just
other
like
day.
they've had great racing games. They've had 2D fighters, 3D fighters, all like every type of RPG you can imagine, like from Fantasy Star to Skies of Arcadia to like Shining Force. Like Sega has so much, and
By the way-
they don't do anything with it.
By the
Just
way,
not-
don't buy the new Medieval because Sony shut down the studio that actually made Medieval because they made them make a bunch of games that no one played, so they just shut them down and they made some other studio make Medieval instead of keeping the studio that made Medieval around to make the remake.
Gorilla
Which I think is really
Cambridge.
scummy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
It's really fucking scummy.
they shut them down in like 2017, which would have been when this remake
Right
really
before they
started,
announced
yeah.
the remake.
Yeah, that is
After forcing them to make a Killzone game that no one bought because it was on the Vita, and a multiplayer shooter for PSVR because it was a launch game for a platform that not a lot of people own. I don't
yeah,
understand Sony's logic.
yeah, that is a bit
More-
shitty. They also made the 24 game.
More to my original point. Twisted Metal is an IP that I feel like would work really well as like an online multiplayer. Like, you know, in a world where people play a lot of team-based shooters, your Overwatches and everything, I could even see that just having these kind of a diverse shooter, but a diverse vehicle-based shooter online makes like a ton of sense to me. Like, I feel like that's an IP that could be super, super popular today.
I think Matt and I were talking about this when we were playing Saints Row the other day, where like just like car games in general have just like ceased to exist. Like Burnout's been gone forever outside of the Paradise remaster. There hasn't been a Twisted Metal since the one on PS3. GTA hasn't had a new installment since the PS3, since the beginning of the gen. Granted, because Red Dead Redemption 2. There hasn't been a new Saints Row.
Can you
And then like
drive a car in
no one bought
Crackdown?
Need for Speed. No one bought Need for Speed. Any of the new ones because they don't look good.
Yeah. Can you drive a car in Crackdown? Because one of them came out.
I mean, why would you want to play Crackdown?
I don't know. I guess there's. I mean, I had one in my mind. There was a new cruising game in 2017, but it was like arcade only, which is
It's
really
arcade
fucking
only.
weird. Yeah.
And then like, what was it? Driving Club got like shut down.
Drive Club. What?
Drive Club.
Yeah,
That was
I remember.
the game that.
I thought there. Oh no, I think I'm thinking of Project Cars because isn't there a Project Cars 2 coming out?
Yeah, there's also a Project Cars, but I'm thinking of the PS4 exclusive Drive Club, the one that
yeah,
Sony.
yeah.
The thing that Sony's been making in lieu of just making a new Gran Turismo or Gran Torino, whatever the fuck it is.
Gran Torino.
I always get that shit confused with the fucking Clint Eastwood movie. God damn it!
Gran Turismo
Gran
is one of the
Turismo,
best-selling video game series of all time.
Yeah, it's like the big racing one.
Yeah,
No, I know, but I'm just saying it's got a very similar name to a Clint Eastwood movie from 2009.
I understand that, but they're not the same thing at all.
No, but I'm saying the name is similar. You goofball.
It's
Gran Turismo.
There was a Gran Turismo Sport released in 2017, so there was that.
Yeah, man. The only time that I play games with cars, they're RC cars, and they're playing soccer. That's the only time I see people play car games anymore.
Yeah, it's Rocket League,
true.
which is barely a car game. It's more like a wacky soccer game. Or
Remember when
football,
Nintendo
or
tried to
football
make
if you hate freedom.
Nintendo tried to make a wacky soccer game with Metroid, and people thought it was awful.
It's because it was pretty awful. Let's not beat around the bush on that. It was fine as a little sub game, I suppose, but
As its own full thing, yeah.
yeah. But yeah, not fair enough. So a bunch of other stuff was announced this week, which seems really odd considering E3 is only a few weeks away, and I'm sure a lot of this stuff is going to be at E3. Then again, thinking about it for like a few seconds, I suppose if you get it out now, it doesn't get lost in all of the E3 related news, and so it gets a bit more coverage. Although one of these was Call of Duty Modern Warfare. That's what it's called.
2019.
Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2019. Getting Sonic the Hedgehog 2006 vibes.
I swear that sometimes companies like are on the verge of something getting leaked, and they're like, "Screw it, just put it out. Put it out before it gets leaked."
Well, what is it? Well, Call of Duty always has like, they always revealed their games like in April.
Mm-hmm.
That's always been the dealio, which actually is why this year it's so weird to see it announced so late.
Yeah. Well, this one feels really so Call of Duty Modern Warfare is a reboot of the first Modern Warfare. But I guess set in modern day, and not 2005 or whenever the original Modern Warfare was set.
2007, yeah.
Yeah, so just slightly longer, but it has the same characters. Captain Price is back. Apparently, you can if you pre-order the game, you can get a figure of Captain Price, a little 5-inch high figure.
Hell yeah!
But it's also being made by Infinity War, who. I don't feel like have Infinity War been one of the main Call of Duty developers still? Because they obviously did the original Modern Warfare.
Yeah, they made
and then
the last
Infinite
one they
Warfare.
Made. The last one they made was Infinite Warfare, and then the one before that was Ghosts.
Oh, they did
and then
Ghosts.
Before that was Modern Warfare 3.
It's because there's also Treyarch. Is there another Call of Duty developer?
There are 5 companies.
Oh God!
But there's 3 main ones. You have it initially was Infinity Ward and Treyarch.
Yeah.
Swapping places, and then they added a third one, Sledgehammer. But then they also have Raven. They had Neversoft, rest in peace, and now they have Beanox to help development of all these games.
Okay. Right. Neversoft got absorbed into Infinity Ward, apparently.
Yeah. Also, everyone left Respawn Entertainment to go back to working at Infinity Ward, which is why Titanfall 3 is now dead in the water.
Oh, no. Because that was it. Because I knew that they had all gone off to do something else. And that's why when they announced Infinity Ward, because I haven't been following Call of Duty since Modern Warfare 3, really. I remember Ghost because of the dog, but that was about it. But yeah, no, yeah, I knew they had gone off to do something else, and it's Titanfall.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they're back to do Modern Warfare, and it's really going to be going back. It's not going to have a zombie mode. It's going to have a big campaign.
Well, the big thing is that it's going to have a co-op mode, which is pretty crazy wacky, and it's also going to have cross-platform multiplayer.
Oh.
Which, as someone who always buys Call of Duty on PC, thank you.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Because now I get to play against console plebs that have to use controllers to aim. Ooh, but 2. The player base won't be dead within 2 months. So I mean, that's that's nice. That's a nice little bonus.
What do you think the chances are of Modern Warfare coming to Switch? I feel like they would have probably announced it had it be coming to Switch.
Probably
right?
not.
Like,
But
yeah. Because people,
well,
that
I
rumor
just
was going around for a little bit, but that rumor was complete nonsense because it also listed Wii U and 3DS, and people just
because
chose to ignore that.
it also because it also was like reported on by Marcus Sellers.
Oh, was it? Is that where that
Um,
started? Oh god.
I find it really weird we haven't seen a Call of Duty on Switch yet, but I think a lot of that is also just like I get it. They don't want to put the timer up. Apparently, there was a rumor that World War II was supposed to come to Switch, but apparently Activision only gave Beanox like a month to work on the port. So by the end of the month, when they were barely done, they were just like, scrap it. And
God.
and on top though, there's another thing because
Mhm.
maybe you've heard about this. There has been a Modern Warfare 2 remastered in development,
Mm. Yeah, I
and it
did
was
hear about
supposed to
that.
come out last year, and nothing came of it.
How
And then,
how confusing is that for a consumer?
yeah,
So we have
right.
Modern Warfare and Modern Warfare 2 coming out. No, Modern Warfare 2 is a remaster of an old game. Modern Warfare is a brand new title, though.
And then it was rumored to also come out this year along with the new Modern Warfare, but
That
it
would be
also
too
hasn't been
confusing.
talked about yet. Yeah. Well, there's apparently a couple of reasons for it. The first one might just be that it's too confusing of a name. The second one, and this is what my agent in the field has told me, because yes, I do have a Call of Duty insider. I have
Source
the
Gaming, man,
receipts.
we have all the
I have
sources.
the
Yes,
receipts.
we've got the sources.
He told me it was supposed to come out last year, but they didn't because there's this mission in the game called No Russian where you shoot up an airport,
Mm-hmm.
and in America we have these bi-monthly mass shootings.
That's not something I should laugh about,
So
lads.
so apparently the people in like PR were like, nah, can't we fucking can't.
Yeah, well, is
You ever
it?
seen that episode of BoJack where they're doing a female-led shooter movie, like action movie?
Yeah.
And then they're like, there was a mall shooting. Oh yeah, thoughts and prayers, thoughts and prayers. And then they're like, no, this is bad news. It was a female shooter, and they couldn't release their movie. Anyway, sorry. I love BoJack. That's all.
Yeah, no, no. It's a good, interesting. You brought up the airport shoot up because like a lot of this new Modern Warfare has stuff like child soldiers and
Yeah.
other edgy shit,
Well,
and it just made me think of the airport shooting because that was the first proper like, oh, this is, you shouldn't be done. Remember, like the first Modern Warfare 2 actually had a like warning that if this was too
yeah.
sensitive, you could skip that mission entirely.
Well, the thing, I mean, the current writer of of this new Modern Warfare said that when he played 4, when he played the original back in the day, like there's a lot of sequences in that game that are meant to make you feel uncomfortable. You have the Death from Above where you're in the AC-130 and you're like firing down on like you're in a fucking plane like 50,000 feet in the air and you're shooting down at like separatists with AKs. Like it's not a fair fight at all.
Yeah, no, I
And it's
remember that
supposed to
mission.
make
Yeah.
you feel uncomfortable because it was based on it was based on at the time recently leaked footage of kind of how fucking one-sided war is when you have like literal trillions of dollars put into one country's war machine and the other country just has like some AKs from the Khyber Pass. But like that's apparently. I mean, then you of course you had the nuke scene in COD 4
Yeah, the
that's
nuke
supposed to make
scene.
you go like, holy shit. And apparently that's just what the current writer said. Like, you know, they want to bring back that feeling of like making this like real visceral war experience.
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen a lot of people immediately write it off because they're just like, oh well, it's Call of Duty and they can't possibly do it correct because you know it's like the biggest franchise ever. But I don't know. I think sometimes people give these COD games like not enough credit because like all of the different games try something different, and you can't really say that like as much as people meme that every game is like exactly the same, they're not really the same. They all have like incredibly different tones from one another.
Hmm. No, yeah, I think it's just fatigue because one comes out every year. I mean, Assassin's Creed's sort of the same thing, but that changes up location all the time and mechanics all the time.
It's like if the next Madden game said they were gonna get really into the effects that football has on players after the game, and we're really gonna examine the brain damage. And I mean, they could do that, but I don't know, man. I don't believe them. I don't believe them because I see these games all the time. And I know what you're saying, that they could do it, and they probably they will, but I'm just saying that's what people's mindset is because they're so used to it just being like another installment of this game, you know?
Yeah, but I mean, all the silly names aside and everything, I haven't bought a Call of Duty game in a very long time, but this one actually feels quite like it looks quite interesting to me. Like from what little we've seen, like this might actually be the first Call of Duty I buy in a very long time.
So here's a more important question: when do we get a new James Pond game that's James Pond, COD of Duty?
Didn't they just release a James Pond on the Switch?
I think they did. I don't know if
they did like a week ago.
Yeah, I think it's I don't think it's a new one though. I think it's
I don't think it's a new one.
Yeah.
This game here's a hot take. Those games have never been good.
I like James Pond 3. I like James Pond 3.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm curious on it. I do think people. I don't know. I wouldn't. I'm not gonna sit here and be like Call of Duty's the best franchise. It's really good gamers. It's badass. But like, I don't know. I've always had general fun with a lot of them. I sure like the Treyarch ones. The Treyarch ones are like, it's so funny because the Treyarch ones really are like the bombastic, like popcorn entertainment that people just assume Call of Duty is.
Mm-hmm.
Like, did you play World at War?
Yeah, I did play World at War. I think.
Can we talk about how fucking weird tonally, like tonally, that World at War is?
World at War is very strange.
It's a game where you have bonsai charging Japanese soldiers with rock music blaring, and then you like take a shotgun and you fire it at them, and there's like chunks of gore flying out of their chests.
Oh, yeah, wait, so you can answer this for me. What era was World at War set?
World War II.
It is World War II, but it's not like against
Real
Germany, Russia, and stuff. It's against
it's the
America
end
versus
of
Asia,
the war.
right?
No, it switches between the Pacific campaign and the Russians and the Germans.
Which one was the one that was like against like the Vietnam War or something?
Black Ops.
Oh, okay. See, I was having this conversation, like this exact conversation with someone the other day, and I was getting Black Ops and World at War mixed up. That's
my favorite one. I really love Black Ops.
I quite like Black Ops. Black Ops was the last one I liked, and then I played Modern Warfare 3, and I hated Modern Warfare 3.
Did you play Black Ops 2?
I played it for a bit, but I couldn't get into it, and at this point I was a bit too, like, not in the mood for Call of Duty games anymore.
I would say go back and play Black Ops 2, because I think the thing that makes me what's great about Black Ops and Black Ops 2 is that they're not even trying to be military games at that point. They're just like dudes with guns taking on the bad guys with guns. Like because the Black Ops 1 is just like Manchurian Candidate, but in like Vietnam.
Mm-hmm.
And then Black Ops 2 is like it's like weird meta cyber warfare between drug cartels and like an army from a nation that's like collapsing in on itself, and Jimmy Kimmel's in it as himself, and then there's a post-credit scene with Avenged Sevenfold as themselves.
Right.
And it's so fucking weird.
Right, okay.
I'll tell you what had a post-credit scene. Godzilla. The new Godzilla movie had a post-credit scene.
I haven't seen that yet. I want to see it, though. I like the first Godzilla.
I saw it last night.
Is it good?
I liked it. It's, the human part sucked, but I mean
it's
giant monsters were great. So,
yeah, I think that's the general consensus, but I think the giant monster part is what you kind of want to go for, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, although I feel like a lot of the reviews that I saw early on were like, oh, there's definitely a lot more monsters in this and not as much human stuff. I still felt like there was way too much human stuff. I feel like I don't need very much human stuff at all in these movies.
Nah. You just need a little kid to be like Godzilla for Godzilla to protect, and that's about it.
Yeah.
Like it's all you
He
really
protect,
need.
he attack. Most of all, Godzilla back. What? So where did that meme come from? I don't understand. Where did that one?
That one's been around for a long time. He protect.
Yeah, but I feel like it's been.
He protect. He attack, but most importantly, he delivers the snack. Something like that.
Yeah, but like I've been seeing it. Like I know it's been around for a couple of years, but like I don't know where it initially came from, and B, everyone's using it again all of a sudden.
Probably because they actually have a rhyme that it works with. Like that meme only works if you have an actual rhyme you can work with for it. Here, look, I'll do a bit of meme research for you and find out.
Yeah, let's find out. This is
okay,
important.
so on November 8th, 2016, the @FijiChecks Instagram account posted photographs of a nude man wielding a lightsaber, along with the caption "He protect, but he also attack," with the protect having the lightsaber down and then the attack having it up.
Oh, well, look at that. Look at the humble origins of that meme.
Yeah, and then it spread in 2017 on more Instagrams with people doing stuff like the cat in the hat and a cow and stuff, and then started adding more to it. And there's the origin.
I'll say this about the Godzilla movie. I really liked the monster designs, in particular Rodan. I thought Rodan looked really, really good. I like his design a lot.
Is it? You know, it's really funny because I've been watching all these like American monster movies. Like I saw the original, like the 2014 Godzilla. I've seen Kong Skull Island. I'm probably gonna go see Godzilla tomorrow. But like, you know, it's funny. Like Rampage did it right. You just gotta make the humans like quip at each other and like fun and like in the know.
Yeah, like
like
it just I feel like tonally all the actors were acting in different movies.
Like it is
you'll see when you watch it.
Fucking weird when I was watching like Godzilla 2014 and it's like they same thing with Kong Skull. Man, Kong Skull Island.
No,
is
the thing is, Kong Skull Island was actually fun. That's why I like Kong Skull
It's a good movie. I just wish the fun characters weren't the secondary characters, while the main characters were the fucking like.
John C. Reilly was the best part of that movie.
No, he was. But for some reason they thought, hey, what if we made Loki and Captain Marvel the main characters and then just have them blankly stare at things the entire film?
What film is this?
Kong Skull Island.
Oh, okay. I haven't seen Kong Skull Island. I always forget it's part of this kaiju monster universe that they're setting
You
up.
got a movie with Sam Jackson, John Goodman, and John C. Reilly in it, but they make the most boringest fucking people the
protagonists,
the main characters.
Yeah.
And it's like I hate these people. Bring back the fun people.
Like yay, Brie Larson and Tom Hiddleston. Yeah. And Tom Hiddleston can be fun. His entire turn as Loki was him having fun.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I haven't seen it, so I can't really comment on it, unfortunately. What else has been announced this week?
Mortal Kombat,
you might have to. What part of Mortal Kombat DLC?
Yeah, the Shang Tsung trailer. Have you not seen it?
No, I don't follow Mortal Kombat. All the DLC got leaked before, yeah. But
we should do a live reaction right now. Just go to it.
I don't really care enough about it to Spawn. It's the only one I knew, basically.
Well, they did officially reveal that Spawn's in it. Shang Tsung looks sick. I like how they make him look like his actor from the '90s movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'll put on the trailer on mute and just watch it.
Yeah, just put it on. Look at him. He looks cool. He even does the. The thing is, I don't remember him because I never played Mortal Kombat 10, and I can't really remember him from Mortal Kombat 9. But I like that he actually says, "Your soul is mine," and then that's one of his moves. He goes, "Your soul is mine," and then he takes your soul, and then he becomes you and has your moveset for a little while.
That's quite cool, actually.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they're remastering the Ghostbusters game.
Oh yeah, they are. I was.
That is weird.
3.
That is very strange. Yeah, I was going to bring that up earlier because I was going to say Activision's really weird with the Switch because the only things they've been publishing on it were Crash Bandicoot games, like not even
but is that the
Spyro
Wii version
or anything.
or the?
But then
the Wii
there's
version
there's
the
Ghostbusters as well.
version?
I would assume it's the Xbox 360 version because this is coming to this isn't just a Switch exclusive. This is coming
okay,
to
it's going to everywhere.
Everywhere,
Okay.
yeah. So it'd be very strange if they ported the Wii version.
Because the Wii version was its own thing. It had it was
the
like very,
PC
very
version of the Ghostbusters remaster is an Epic Store exclusive. Good thing I just, have the original game on Steam.
I never played it. People enjoyed it, didn't they?
Oh wait, those motherfuckers took it down. What? Oh, those pieces of shit.
Oh no. Can you not download?
Those sons of bitches.
I thought if you already paid for it, you could still access it.
Okay, so well, yeah, but if I go to the store page, it doesn't exist. It's just in my library.
Oh, okay.
Damn.
That's a bit cheeky, considering it's the original and not the remaster.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well. Yes, yeah, PS4, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, Windows PC. Spyro remaster coming to Switch is something I fully expect to be announced at E3. By the by, I feel like it's going to be a thing.
If it's not announced at E3, it may not happen for Switch.
I feel like it is. I mean, I've heard a while back that it was defo gonna happen. Like, it was definitely happening, and Activision was just holding off on it on the hopes of getting people to double dip.
The one guy who did the Crash port, they needed him to be free before they could have him do the Spyro thing all by himself.
But it's Toys for Bob's, isn't it? They're the developers.
Yeah.
But no. I mean, even if it has to, like, I've seen some argument that maybe Crash is going to be Crash Spyro is too big for Switch. Like, remember, you have to download the game separately. Well, not separately, but you download them on the thing.
That game, it's still like a 20 gig game, right? It's not like fucking 80 gigs.
No, it's something silly, I remember. Like,
let me see.
Yeah, you look for it up.
Spyro install size 30 gig. Yeah, oh wait, what? Spyro Reignited Trilogy takes up nearly 70 gigs of space. According to a user on Reset Era, the Spyro Reignited Trilogy install size is 31. At the same time, though, like, I don't know, storage space on Switch is not a problem because everyone's able to compress their games like fucking crazy. Because, like, Doom is like 90 gigs normally.
Yeah, I know.
It's 20 gigs on the Switch.
On
so...
Which shows you how lazy developers are now when it comes to compression.
No, it just goes to show you how big shit is.
Yeah. But no, I mean, compression is fine. What my point was is that Spyro, the first one is on the disc, and then the other two have to be downloaded.
Yeah,
because of how big they are. So on the Switch, I would see it being like Spyro 1 is on the cart, and you have to download Spyro 2 and 3, and potentially extra downloads, which you didn't have to do with Crash. All three were on the cart for Crash.
Yeah. You know what really grinds my gears? They did the Final Fantasy 10 and 10-2 remaster, and they made 10-2 a download, but like it's still tied to the cartridge. So despite the fact that it's like digitally on your Switch, like you have to still have the fucking cartridge in to play it.
That's weird.
I hate it really so much. At least Capcom just gives you a cute little download code for Resident Evil 1, and you're like, okay.
Yeah, that's really strange as well. That Resident Evil Origins, the one that's on the cartridge, is Resident Evil 0 and not 1. I guess 0's the bigger game, I'm assuming.
So,
no. Why?
They're both like 10 gigs. They're not like.
Just why is 0 the one on cartridge?
Did you go back and watch the trailer on Silent?
What
Jax?
For
Mortal Kombat?
Tsung. Yeah, I watched Shang Tsung's. Yeah.
Yeah, they made him look exactly like the actor. I also enjoy that he turns into all of the ninjas, especially the ninjas that are not currently playable in the games. Just randomly.
His fatality is really weird, where
really
Goro just comes like bursting out of people.
I think it's actually Kintaro, right?
Kintaro, the guy with the forearms. I thought it was Goro.
Well, no. Yeah. Well, both of them are part of whatever species that is. I don't know. I really enjoy the NetherRealm fighting games because they actually have a story mode that's fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. 2 more guests. Okay.
There's Smash VR. I don't have.
Oh yeah, Smash VR.
Labo VR.
Oh
so I
yeah.
don't know.
Oh
I
yeah,
did a
that
video on that.
Yeah, there were two. I guess there were two things I was going to talk about before. Well, one thing before getting to Smash, and that's the fact that Beyond Good and Evil 2 won't be at E3, but is getting like a live stream ahead of time, which is really weird because like
I need to play the first game.
It's
I have
weird,
it.
but you know what's also weird? Beyond Good and Evil 2 doesn't even look like Beyond Good and Evil.
I mean, all right, that's a different conversation for another day. But like, Beyond Good and Evil is one of Ubisoft's big upcoming games, so the fact that it's getting its own live stream ahead of time and not
I think
going
it
to be
might
at
just
their
be because
conference,
it might be just because it's like not coming out anytime soon.
maybe. I mean, it's been in blooming.
I've heard I've seen from like a lot of journalists on Twitter that like they're saying like expect this year to be like a slow year for announcements just because like everyone's in that like cross-generational period.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Which even historically is not true because the end of the generation always has like the coolest and the most badassest games. So I don't know.
Plus,
maybe
Nintendo's
Sony.
not
Yeah.
mid-generation, so they're gonna have their
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, but Nintendo also has a lot of stuff already announced for this year, so I can't see how much more they're gonna have for this year, unless they.
Yeah.
just go over
That's the thing
2020
that I've
stuff.
always said about like Sony's E3. I'm all like, yeah, they win E3. I'm like, because they announced games that aren't going to be out for the next 5 years.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
people are like, I don't know what you're talking about. And I remember being all like, yeah, Final Fantasy, Spider-Man, God of War. I'm like, these games aren't going to be out. And then, sure enough,
And
you know,
now they're out, and now they have nothing else to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, like I saw it the other day. No, not sorry. I thought about it the other day. Was it Final Fantasy VII remaster, Death Stranding, and Shenmue 3 were all like announced at the same time. And
Yeah.
the only one of those three is close to being done is Death
I feel
Stranding,
like-
which is this year.
No, that's not true because Shenmue's coming out in August.
Wait, Shenmue 3 is coming out in August?
It's
Is
coming
it?
out in August.
I haven't
Yeah.
heard anything from Shenmue 3 since
Shenmue 3 is coming out in August.
I did what? I did
They've
not.
been doing updates like bi-monthly.
Have
on
they? Because
Kickstarter.
the
Yeah.
only well then because the only update I had seen was when the first like screenshots sort of got
August 27th.
oh wow, okay, never mind, I'm completely wrong. I have not seen anything from this game at all except for like leaked screenshots before anyone had actually seen any trailers or whatever. And then that was it. It just completely fell off the radar, and I was like, "Where is this game now?" And okay, oh yeah, there's loads of trailers for it. Oh shit!
I guess this goes into the discussion of like Sony doesn't have a show this year. I think people put way too many eggs into the basket of Sony's E3 conferences being good because historically that's never been the case.
nope.
They've always had like their one wow moment, but even then their one wow moment usually has like a bunch of asterisks like attached to it.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people go, man, Sony's E3 2013 presentation was amazing because like they had the system was like $100 less than the Xbox One, and they also had the little cheeky like this is how you share your games.
But if you go,
Yeah.
if you just go to polls and
but like the rest of that
responses every
conference
year,
sucked.
I was about to say, if you go to poll and fan responses every year on who won E3, it's not like it's always Sony and it's
Yeah.
by a large like portion.
Yeah.
You know, they're just another cog in that machine, man.
A lot of people always love to bring up. Remember when Sony slammed Xbox that one year, and then I go, remember when the PS4 didn't have any worthwhile exclusives until Bloodborne came
Yeah.
out?
Did you guys remember $599 Giant Enemy Crab? Do you guys
Yeah.
remember the shit show that was almost the entirety of the PS3 generation up until the last few years where they started focusing on having their own content with things like The Last of Us? But for the majority of last gen, the PS3 was way behind.
The
both
PS3
Wii-
conference were always the fucking
Yeah.
worst.
Yup.
Hey,
Yeah.
never forget E3 2014, where Sony spent a good hour talking about that rhythm game. What's it called? The one with the little like wireframe person, like bit ribbon or something I want to call it. And they spent a good like 30 minutes talking about that and how it was a really good
Remember
game
that,
and
like-
stuff, and then they announced Mortal Kombat 10 and it actually had nothing to do with anything. Vib Ribbon, that's the game. 30 minutes talking about how Vib Ribbon's a really good game, and then announced Mortal Kombat 10.
Remember that like the first few like PS4 E3 conferences, like every demo just didn't work. Like, remember when Assassin's Creed crashed on stage, and like every time they had an Uncharted demo, it broke and they had to like restart it every single time.
Remember E3? Remember Sony last year?
Yeah.
And remember Vita?
Well, here's the actual interesting thing, guys. Square Enix is taking the Sony spot.
Yeah, I still don't expect
And they
Square
have-
stuff to be good.
I don't know, man. They got a lot to talk about. They want to talk about the Avengers. They want to talk about. They can't talk about Kingdom Hearts anymore. That game's out. But Final Fantasy VII.
DLC, Kingdom Hearts DLC. They could talk about.
Yeah, like I think Square Enix is going to surprise people. I think they're going to have a really good.
I am
time here.
fully expecting a trailer for Final Fantasy VII and a trailer for Avengers to be in the Microsoft conference.
You think
Oh
so?
no! What if they announce a new Tomb Raider?
I like
don't
Tomb
think-
Raider.
Why
I like
waste,
Tomb Raider, but like they need to stop.
Why
Or at
waste
least,
time
like,
on Tomb Raider when they could be working on Gex?
why?
True.
This is true.
Why make an Avengers game when they could just finish Deus Ex? Oh, wait, isn't Crystal Dynamics doing the Avengers game?
Yes, they are doing the Avengers.
Then
So
what the
you
fuck
won't.
is IDOS doing?
You won't.
Wait a minute. Hold up. They canceled Deus Ex to have IDOS work on a game that they're not even working on? What the fuck is going? What is this clown world? What?
Well, it's it isn't. Does IDOS even exist anymore? Like,
Yes, they do.
oh yeah, it's former name of a British. What? No, IDOS Interactive became a subsidiary.
IDOS Montreal.
What about but IDOS Interactive wasn't the because IDOS Interactive was from Britain. Was a British developer originally.
Yeah.
And then what happened to them?
but there's Canadian IDOS Montreal.
Yeah,
who
there
makes
is the
Deus
Canadian
Ex
ones,
and
yeah.
Thief.
I think Crystal
Yeah.
Dynamics is the original IDOS. I think.
Yeah, and Crystal Dynamics makes Tomb Raider.
Yes.
So
yes.
where the wait? What the fuck? Apparently. Okay, wait. I'm having a fucking Jimmy Neutron brain blast here. So you have Tomb Raider 2013, Crystal Dynamics, right? Like,
Yeah.
we're all on the same page here. Rise of the. I almost said Rise of the Triad, motherfucker. Rise of the Tomb
Rise
Raider.
of the Triad is great.
I
by
love
the
that
way.
game.
It's so good.
Ri-
It's got this like great like Blade Runner aesthetic. Oh man, thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Rise of the Tomb
Continue.
Rise of the Tomb Raider, Crystal Dynamics, right? We're all on the same page.
Yes.
Yeah.
Shadow of the Tomb Raider, IDOS Montreal.
Okay.
Okay.
Didn't know that.
So that's why Crystal Dynamics is doing Avengers, because IDOS Montreal is doing Tomb Raider now. What?
Yeah, Eidos Montreal is still listed for the Avengers, but they haven't been
Yeah.
mentioned what they're doing with it at all. So apparently they have over 500 employees, so they've got to be doing something.
So we just make Deus Ex Fun Kind Revolution, or whatever the hell they were gonna call the third one.
Funkind.
God damn it! Just make a third one.
Rip. Just what if they make a new Thief instead?
No,
Thief 2.
we don't need a new Thief. The Dark mod is good enough. Shit.
Okay. So is there anything else that's been announced this week ahead of E3, game wise? Because
Man,
call
I-
it
by the way,
everything else, like Death Stranding, kind of overshadowed everything.
Dead by Daylight looks better.
Didn't they announce a new character for the Scream guy for Dead by Daylight?
I'm so glad you said the guy from Scream.
I know he has a name. I just don't know
No,
who it is.
no. You don't understand. That's at least better than people going, oh, it's the guy from Scary Movie.
I am at least somewhat cultured, okay?
Yeah, But no, if anyone remembers, back in February they announced Dead by Daylight for Switch, and it was far and away the worst looking game of the show.
Yeah, I do
Like,
remember.
it looked absolutely dreadful. But they announced this week that not only is it coming to mobile, but it's also coming to Switch in September. And they posted some screenshots.
September 24th.
And it looks exponentially better. Like, it still doesn't look amazing, but I would say it looks closer to like the Hellblade port than it does whatever they showed in the direct.
Yeah, I'll post it on screen in a sec when I saved it. Yeah, that does look actually better.
Yeah.
Maybe they saw what happened with Ark and they were like, no, we can't let that happen.
Granted, they also announced that game like several months before the port was coming out, so it's possible they just showed an incredibly early version.
Yeah, that's definitely possible.
I'm still kind of I mean, I just want to see what Friday the 13th looks and runs like, because that's the one that I'm really jonesing for.
I'm surprised that one's even coming out, considering.
Yeah.
Right, so I guess the other thing, the big relevant announcement for Source Gaming fans, and I know it's not for you, Colin, but Smash Brothers got its update, and you at least tried.
I made a video on
VR one. Yeah, no, but I mean, like, there was more than just the VR stuff, because there's also data mining and other shit from that
and the patch notes, and they killed Pichu, man.
Yeah, they killed Pichu. Rest in peace.
Rest in Pichu.
So yeah, there's but let's talk about Smash, because everyone is probably expecting us to talk about it. So there was the VR update, which was the big thing that came now, and then the Amiibo journey. And apparently the Amiibo journey is pretty crap, because you can only do it once every 24 hours, and when you do it, you can't actually do anything else, which is just really, really weird. Like, I don't understand that at all. But it did get the thought in my mind, can you use Amiibo in, like, tournament mode on the Switch?
I think so.
So, like, could you set up a tournament of just Amiibo? Like, 32 Amiibo tournament?
Yeah, I think you can. Yeah, you can.
Right, this sounds like something to stream later down the line. And everyone can place their bets. Not actually, because that's illegal, but everyone can, if they want to themselves. It's not
illegal if we make it loot boxes, though.
Then everyone can pick, and that gives me an excuse to use all of my bajillion Amiibo and actually open the King K. Rool and Young Link Amiibos that I have. So maybe we'll do that then. I will look at sorting that out at some point. Anyway, the other stuff for Smash. Colin, you did a brief VR video. Do you want to do a slight recap, and I'll redirect people to that video to watch it if they haven't?
I wish that video did better. I thought it would.
I just think it need to push it a bit more. I think. Yeah.
Sad day, but I was like, I've been on like a real kick with all these VR things they've been adding to all these Switch games. So like, I remember the initial reports was that it was going to be for replays only, which I mean, it's still cool, but like, that's not, like, cool.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that badass. But then they said, no, you watch CPUs fight, or you can join and fight CPUs, which is probably the best way to do it. It's very limited. There's no items, there's no final smashes, so you're just basically watching a bunch of dudes punch each other. And you just kind of sit back and you watch it, and it's neat. Reminds me of how much better everyone watches another tab. Yeah, just have it on repeat for the rest of the day. Yeah. By the way, apologies for the video quality in that video, but like, unlike Breath of the Wild or Mario Odyssey, you can't trick the Switch into docking itself when it's in VR mode in Smash. It seems like they finally included some sort of like, hey, don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to I had to set it up on my desk with my DSLR pointed at it.
Still watchable. It still looks fine.
It still looks sharper than the actual game itself. But yeah, I mean, it's cute. Like, it's really uncomfortable if you actually try to play Smash with it.
Yeah, it looks like it would
because you
be.
have to constantly like keep up with the camera, because the camera is like extremely, like, you can kind of see it at the end of that video where, like, if you're not messing around with the controls, like, the camera kind of fucks with you.
Right, and you can't use the Pro Controller. You have to use the.
You have to use the Joy-Cons, yeah. Which is why in that video you see my hands come in to like twiddle with the Joy-Cons, because I actually had a Pro Controller off screen, and I'm like, wait, what the fuck? It's not working.
All right.
So yeah, I don't know. It's cute. That's the most I can say about it, I guess.
Mm-hmm. So, other Smash news, they're happening right now is a new Spirit event with Peachette Spirit being added, which was leaked ages ago. I was kind of hoping it would come with more spirits and only Peachette was linked, but apparently not. They're just doing an all-girls spirit battle, and she's now added in randomly. So there's that. But more to the point is that right before this update, there was a data mine in the game, because they updated the game before the VR mode and everything went live, and people found announcement texts for different aspects of it, and including the VR mode. So, like, when you first turn on the game, it's like VR mode is now available. That was found in the code already, and so was the Amiibo journey and the 3.1 update saying that it could be downloaded now, May 31st or whatever day it was. But what else was found was that 4.0 update is coming out on, I think it's July 31st. I believe it was what it was listed as. If someone can correct me about whether or not it was July or June.
That sounds like a very placeholdery date, you know?
Yeah, it does, but considering the other one in the game's data was the correct date for the VR stuff, and it seems a bit random to have does seem a bit random to have just a placeholder date to even include this at all for 4.0 update, because there's no real reason to have it in there. Like, all the VR stuff, sure, because that update was about to come out.
Yeah.
But not the 4.0. It kind of implies that our next major update and our next major DLC character won't be coming out until end of July. Unless it was June 31st and I'm mixing them, in which case end of June. But not being shadow dropped during the event. During E3.
I think I feel like it could be subject to change. Like, they just put in June 31st in the code just to be like, yeah, you know.
Maybe. And it's entirely possible that they release a character without making it 4.0.
Anytime I see a date that is like the 30th or the 31st, like, I immediately start going like, that's suspect.
Yeah, I think it's a placeholder.
It immediately sounds like a placeholder, yeah.
Yeah, but I think it's the fact that it's in the game's files, like, seems weird. But you're right, I suppose there is a chance of it being a placeholder. And there is a chance of 4.0 is going to be a bigger update with a new character and modes and stuff like 3.0 was. And that the actual... an actual next character won't be in a 4.0 update. It'll be, like, 3.5 or something.
Yeah.
In which case it could still be Shadow Drop. Because it still feels weird to me, like, I can't see them waiting till July for the next character. Unless, like, both of the next two characters are going to launch at the same time. But it almost seems why. Like, it'll have been in development for about 8 months at that point. And it didn't start that much later after Joker started development.
Isn't the deadline for getting all the DLC done in, like, February?
Yeah, getting it done by next.
Well, then
February.
there you go. We get one in July. We get one in, like, September. We get one in, like, November, December, and then the last one's just in February.
Yeah, I mean that's
that sounds very Nintendo, like, to be honest.
I mean, you're right. It does, but it also means, like, I mean, unless the character's just ready and they're just holding on it and waiting on them. Because, like, Character 3 started development in December, and if it doesn't come out till September, that was a while. That's like a long time.
I mean, they got like
date.
other video games to focus on. That's cool.
Mm.
Yeah, June doesn't have a 31st.
Yeah, so it's probably July
does
then.
have a 31st.
Yeah. But yeah, that was something that came out this week, which was just a bit. I guess we'll have to see. The character's still it's still definitely going to be announced at E3. They've already taken the new tag off of the Smash Brothers website, which they had done previously, right before one was going to get announced. Like, so it seems likely we'll get the second character announced. It just might not release, but we'll at least get a trailer and they'll get updated on the website. So that's something. They can at least stop all the people complaining about Erdrick, like, because it's just tiring at this point.
Yeah.
Do we think? Question from Neoxon: what do you think of the Miss Marvel Kamala Khan rumors for the Square Enix Avengers game?
Cool, superheroes.
Cool. Yeah. It doesn't bother me. Kamala Khan. Yeah. Like, I don't know. I mean, she's fine as a character, unless like there's actually some massive hate for her that I don't understand and I didn't know about. I know that they're talking about her for the MCU as getting either a TV show or being in the next Captain Marvel. So that's something. I guess it depends. Will Miss Marvel be in the Square Enix Avengers game and
No.
not Captain Marvel? What do you mean no?
No, she's not going to be in that game. Like, they're only gonna. That game is definitely going to have a very limited roster of characters, and it's going to be mostly characters we already know from the MCU. Come on now.
The father of the Genos updated with "Don't hold your breath for Banjo-Kazooie." Man, don't hold your breath for anything. The community is like betting money on getting revealed because there's like no evidence towards anything. I was talking about this last night in the leaks and rumors chat where I was we were talking about Doom Guy's chances. You know, everyone's favorite topic, Doom Guy coming to Smash, and I love Doom. It's my favorite video game of all time. People give me shit for giving him a low rating in the RTC, even though, hey, I was right. He's not in the base game. But there really is like no evidence supporting Doom Guy coming to Smash.
No, the only thing is
literally zip
that Bethesda speaking to Nintendo and them name dropping Smash is the only actual reason that people think Doom Guy has a chance.
Yeah, which even in that case, like Bethesda has like 3 other characters they could totally put in. They have BJ Blazkowicz, they have Dovahkiin, which some people say might be a little too generic, but I don't know. If Villager can be in Smash Brothers, then fucking Dovahkiin can be in Smash Brothers.
Although I think I'd rather have a Marine than another fantasy sword fighter, even if it's a different type of aesthetically different from Erdrick. Like,
where was the Joker evidence? Nothing means anything. We will get whatever. Well, yeah, that's
that's
also
the point,
is that there's no evidence towards anything.
Yeah, I don't think Papagenos would know anything about Banjo-Kazooie. I mean, he's right, don't hold your breath for Banjo-Kazooie, because if you do hold your breath for him and it doesn't happen, you're going to suffocate. So don't hold your breath for anyone, though. Except, well, no, don't even hold your breath for Erdrick. Like, fuck.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of evidence pointing towards him, but it's entirely possible that it doesn't happen. Like, Brave could mean a character from Bravely Default, as far as we're aware. And heck, a Dragon Quest protagonist doesn't even need
Brave
to be
is William
Erdrick.
Wallace. Prove me wrong.
Yeah.
Brave could be anything from Dragon Quest if they're going that far out with the references. I mean, geez, what's his name? Arsene's reference was the author of Lupin the Third. No, the author of Sherlock Holmes. Sorry, not even Lupin the Third. So,
I think Camilla Khan makes sense. I was reading the little that Neoxon put for Recent Era, because she's kind of a fangirl and a big fan of the Avengers in general, not just Miss Marvel. So she makes sense in that role, and I'm okay with her. I don't have strong feelings on Miss Marvel one way or another.
Yeah, I think like from my limited knowledge,
She's an okay character.
if the plot of the
Yeah.
Avengers game is to bring the Avengers together and that's how you unlock the characters, it makes sense to not start with like Captain America and Thor and Iron Man and all that, but start with a much smaller, younger hero. And Miss Marvel definitely fits that. So
Yeah,
yeah, it'd
out
have
of all the young heroes, she makes the most sense to do that.
yeah. So like yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, I am totally okay with it.
Right. So we've kind of come to the end of all of our topics, and we're getting close to the 2-hour mark. So shall we wrap this up here, fellas?
Yeah, this is where we do our one guest question, our
Yeah.
one fan question. Guys, just ask one question, we will answer it.
Yes.
Any question. But you got 30 seconds to go. We'll see it anyway.
And you must give us money while doing so. It must be in the form of a super chat.
I will literally answer anything in form of a super chat. You can ask me the most personal question. I don't care. If you're giving me money, I'll answer it.
It must be a minimum of $20 USD.
I feel like a real streamer now. Remember
So that way I can finally buy Rage 2 and play this on my thoughts on Gwenpool. It exists.
Yeah, Gwenpool exists. It's Gwen? Oh, yeah, they did make a Gwenpool comic, didn't they? Like,
Yeah,
Yeah, they have several. I feel like it's a little
Quite old.
yeah, I feel like it's kind of their answer to how popular Harley Quinn got after Suicide Squad, and also just a cash grab on how popular both Spider-Gwen and Deadpool are. It seems.
yeah, it felt like a cash grab, but I wasn't quite sure if it was something like just because you know how Spider-Gwen was introduced as part of like just another Spider-Man in the Spider-Verse.
Spider-Verse, yeah.
Like I thought it was they did a Deadpool parody sort of it, and she was in that as well. I just assumed she was only in that though.
Die Hard Man.
The best form of carbohydrate is complex carbohydrates. Anyways,
Okay,
Die Hard Man. A great name or not? It's a badass name. I like it.
it's a good name.
Yeah.
Yes,
It is
yes.
a good name.
I like sweet potatoes. I'm gonna carb load. I'll say sweet potatoes are a good one.
Anyone going to be reading Absolute Carnage? Yes, I am looking forward to Venom 2. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be a great film.
Have I seen Warriors of Virtue? No.
No.
I don't even know what it is. All right. I think that's enough questions. That was good.
nice.
That was a good. That was a good
That's
questions
enough
to end
questions. That's fucked
Enough
up.
today.
It's like 4 questions. They're all just like, what's the best kind of air?
Are you all going to live stream most? Actually, I mean that's we're still deciding what to do for our E3 stuff because I know
no one's there.
yeah, well, people want to live stream it. I don't think I'm going to be able to. I need to sort of figure out stuff and how I could do it. Because I'll have people around. So if I did
I'll
live
warn
stream
you.
it, it would be like webcam with people who aren't part of the Source Gaming team, and I'd have to
Yeah.
figure out some kind of weird setup so that people can
That's-
actually hear my mic, and that might become too complicated, and my friends might not even want to appear on camera. So.
That'll be the deal if I end up live streaming a conference. Like, I'm sure we're gonna do something for Nintendo because, like,
Yeah.
a fucking course we will. But like, if it's like Bethesda or Microsoft, I mean, it's gonna be me and my friends. Like, that's
Yeah,
most likely.
yeah. Nintendo and Microsoft potentially will be live streamed. Nintendo almost certainly will. Bethesda, Square, and all the rest of them, I doubt.
Switch Online service E3 announcement wants Doom Eternal multiplayer release date.
It becomes free. No, I guess SNES Online, I suppose, or better,
Thoughts on a Source
better
Gaming
servers.
Thoughts on a Source Gaming movie night? Damn it! I've been trying to stream Game Center CX episodes to the server for like a month now, and no one ever gets back to me. So, get back to me on that one. Next time I ask, fucking say yes, or else I'll just stop asking.
Yeah, we'll stream all the Neil Breen movies
Yeah,
back to back on loop.
We'll just watch Venom.
Venom.
Venom. All right, that's enough of that though. It's been 2 hours now, so
Yeah, we've had enough of your nonsense, guys. I'm sorry.
Thank you, everybody, for watching with us and listening to our thoughts on Death Stranding and everything else. I do not want a sandwich. I've had too much bread today. And
There you go.
yeah, thanks for sticking around with us for 2 hours. Next week is E3, and so because of that, I don't think there's going to be a Good Morning Source Gaming. Because it's literally right in the middle of E3. Yeah, Microsoft's conference is next Saturday,
Yeah,
isn't
it
it?
is. God,
Yeah.
God damn, yeah.
That's why I
Maybe
wanted
we
to
should
talk
live
about
stream
E3 this one.
We should live
That could be
stream
the Good Morning Source Gaming, yeah.
Yes, Good
Live
Morning Source
streaming
Gaming.
Microsoft. Because it's
Yeah.
going to be 2 hours as well.
I'll do it.
So, yeah.
I'm fine with that. That sounds like a great use of my time.
Yeah.
Sounds more entertaining than this Good Morning Source Gaming, I'll be honest with you.
Wow, how rude, Spazzy, how rude.
Spazzy, next time we're in a really hot room playing Smash, I'm gonna punch you.
Yeah. So, we'll potentially,
Why would you
we'll
punch me
stream...
when Phantom is there? And Phantom probably deserves to be punched way more than I do.
Listen,
Listen.
Phantom's punishment is living with himself. Okay, that's
Aw.
just.
Oh, I think you both deserve to be punched for that.
Probably.
It's like the harshest thing I could have
You
said.
both deserve to be punched quite a few times by Phantom for that.
Alright, guys, let's.
Yeah. Thank you to the Duke of Dorks, as always, for being such a super patron, and thank you to all the
him.
other patrons as well for being regular patrons. Thank you to everyone. Like, subscribe, do all of that stuff. E3 is next week. I'll be doing some E3 videos, currently editing.
People are asking us to stream movies instead of E3. I will. We can stream movies, man. I'm fine. I like movies.
I will at least be trying to be stream Guilty Gear this week before E3 because I want to get that done. And yeah. Thanks everybody. Always remember to return to the source. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Dude.